Top 5 news this week, March 16 to 22. Number 5, nagtatago na ba si Senator Bato de la Rosa? At saka anong balita kay former President Rodrigo Duterte? Sa isang phone interview this week, De La Rosa told reporters na nasa isang undisclosed location daw siya sa Pilipinas. Inamin niyang kinoconsider na niyang magtago in case may ilabas na warrant of arrest sa kanya ang International Criminal Court. That's a change in tone kasi sinabi niya dati na hindi siya takot na humarap sa ICC. The other week, he asked the Senate to protect him in case nga there's a warrant from ICC and pumayag naman si Senate President Cheese Escudero. Pero yung Malacanang nagsabi na they will be consistent sa pagtrato sa mga subject ng arrest warrant from ICC na coursed through Interpol. So bakit magkakaroon ng warrant para kay De La Rosa? Remember, si De La Rosa ang unang PNP chief ni Duterte. Siya yung unang chief implementer ng war on drugs. As you know, nakadetain na sa The Hague si Duterte at humarap na siya sa ICC noong nakaraang linggo. And yung next hearing niya nakaset for September 23. Nakausap ng Rappler yung chief lawyer ni Duterte na si Nicholas Kaufman via an exchange of letters. Sabi niya magre-request daw si Duterte ng interim release at the appropriate time, but he declined to give specifics. Meanwhile, si Vice President Sara Duterte nagsabing puro foreigner ang magiging legal counsel ng tatay niya sa ICC. So out of the picture si Salvador Medialdea at saka si Harry Roque. Number 4, si Elon Musk bibigyan dapat umano ng Pentagon ng briefing tungkol sa operational plan ng US military na gagamitin sakaling magkagera with China. Yung New York Times ang unang nag-report nito tapos kinonfirm naman ng The Wall Street Journal. Nakakuha sila ng insider info prior to the scheduled briefing. So ano naman ang issue dito? Military plans are top secret for obvious reasons at saka need to know lang ang basis para ma-access to ng kahit sinong opisyal. Bakit naman kakailanganin ni Musk na malaman yung war strategy ng US against China? Eh hindi naman security agency yung kanyang DOGE or Department of Government Efficiency. Bukod doon, may mga glaring conflict of interest dyan. As CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, Musk has significant business interests in China and with the US government itself. Ayon sa analysis ng New York Times, baka raw uuriratin ni Musk yung operational plan para in a nutshell, malaman kung paano makakatipid. Kasi nga, DOGE. But this adds to the growing list of complaints sa mga kritikong nagsasabing parang si Musk ang tunay na presidente ng Amerika at sunod-sunuran sa kanya si Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Trump and Pentagon officials denied na tungkol sa China yung briefing ni Musk sa Pentagon. Which means may briefing nga si Musk sa Pentagon. Number 3, nag-breakdown na yung ceasefire sa Gaza. 400 people were killed from Israeli airstrikes in the Gaza Strip last Tuesday. The dead included children. Noong Wednesday, tumulak papasok ng Gaza ang ground forces ng Israel all the way to Thursday. It raised the death toll from this salvo of attacks to 500. Meanwhile, Hamas, yung armed group that operates from Gaza, launched airstrikes at Tel Aviv in Israel pero walang reported casualties. So bakit nag-breakdown yung ceasefire? Israel wanted Hamas to release an additional number of hostages. Sabi ng Hamas, okay, pero mangako raw dapat yung Israel na ititigil na yung gera. Sabi naman ng Israel, okay, pero mangako raw dapat ang Hamas na bibitawan na ang Gaza at i-dismantle ang military wing nito. For context, Hamas is a Palestinian armed group that are the de facto governors of Gaza. May role din ang US sa gera na to. For one, they helped broker the ceasefire that started last January. Then later on, Trump made statements na paaalisin daw ang Palestinians from Gaza and gagawin itong Riviera of the Middle East. And then it supplied more arms to Israel, which emboldened Israel to be more aggressive towards Hamas. So ngayon, nagbalik na ang putukan and people are worried na soon, all-out war na naman. Number 2, sa hearing ng House Tri-Committee, nag-apologize ang ilang vloggers dahil sa pagpapakalat ng fake news. Although it has to be said na hindi tayo sigurado kung bukal ba sa loob nila yung apologies nila o na-corner lang ba sila ng mga congressman sa panel. Anyway, pinakatumatak yung interrogation kina Crisette Chu at MJ Kembao. Si Chu nag-claim na magkaka-mass resignation daw sa PNP at AFP dahil sa pag-aresto kay Rodrigo Duterte. Pinasinungalingan na yun ng PNP at AFP before at pinasinungalingan ulit ni Major General Nicolas Torre dun sa hearing. Sabi ni Chu, nire-reflect lang naman daw niya yung mga nasasagap niyang impression sa social media. Pero binara siya ni Manila Congressman Benny Abante. Maya-maya, napaamin na si Chu na mali yung sinabi niya sa post niya. Sinaway naman ni Abante at ni Abang Lingkod Congressman Caraps Paduano si Kiambao for claiming na peke raw yung mga victims ng extrajudicial killings. Matapos mapagalitan ng mga congressman, umamin at nag-apologize din si Kiambao. At certain points, naging emotional sina Chu at Kiambao kasi natatakot daw sila na ma-cite for contempt ng komite. Pangatlong hearing na to ng Tricom on fake news. Nauna nang sinubukan ng mga vloggers na kumuha ng restraining order from the Supreme Court para i-block yung summons ng House. Pero bigo sila. Kaya ayun, humarap na sila sa hearing. Pero ang SMNI hosts na sina Lorraine Badoy at Jeffrey Celis, inisnab pa rin ng komite. Before we go on to number 1, we invite you to download our app para lagi kayong updated sa current events. Number 1, Senator Amy Marcos makes a strong stand for the Dutertes, which puts her at odds with her brother, President Bongbong Marcos. Amy Marcos is the head of the Senate's Foreign Relations Committee. Nitong Huwebes, nagdaos siya ng hearing to investigate the arrest of Rodrigo Duterte, na sabi niya ay illegal. One of the highlights of the hearing was, inamin ni Justice Secretary Boying Remulla na may mga prosecutor na tinakot ng mga pulis para hindi paandarin ng mga kaso laban sa mga drug war killings. In short, Remulla was saying there was no way Duterte could have been tried properly in a local court. Nag-face off yung magkapatid na Remulla laban kay Amy, who was insisting na hindi dapat ipinaubaya sa ICC si Duterte at dito na lang dapat nilitis sa bansa. Of course, we can only speculate about Amy's motives, but this clearly puts her on opposite sides with her brother. Eh di ba tumatakbo si Amy for re-election under Bongbong slate na yung Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas? In fact, hindi sumipot si Amy dun sa huling dalawang sorties nila. Now, matagal na nating alam na malapit si Amy sa mga Duterte at may mga sources din ng Rappler na nagsasabi na out of the loop si Amy sa Malacanang. We also know that she's not doing so well in preference surveys. But should we really care about the internal strife within political families or even Amy Marcos's political fortunes? I think the lesson here for the rest of us is politics is ruthless. If traditional politicians can turn on their own kin for the sake of political survival, then are we to believe that all they're after is public service? On that note, see you next week.